Hello, I'm going to talk about RXPhoto, which is an app that I have got for the clinic. It is a really good way of archiving your patient photos. I used to spend ages at the end of the day, or actually usually at the end of the week and sometimes the end of the month, going through all the photos on my camera and trying to remember which patient they were and archiving them and putting them into folders and what have you. And it just took ages. Whereas this just does it straight away. As soon as you take the photo, it just goes straight into the patient record in the appropriate folder and date and time and everything. So that's brilliant. It is also a great way of sharing photos with the patients, and also we can share them with you, so you can get copies of the patient photos, no problem at all. And the patients get copies. We don't have to email them. We just send them a link to a secure server with a password. So that's all secure. And the other thing that's really important is that it's a much more secure way of taking and keeping patient photos, because the device, the camera or the phone or whatever, is not holding the photo. The photo gets stored straight up into the cloud. So it's really, really recommended, and I think it's a great thing to do. So what you have to do is go to your device, your phone or your iPad or whatever you want to use to take the photos, and you go to your App Store or Google Play Store if you're using a Android phone, and you look for the app. And the app is called RXPhoto, and you install the app on your phone. So here's the app. Now, before you use the app, you have to go into settings, and because it's an American app, you have to make sure it's on the EU servers. So you have to go to settings and go down to RXPhoto, which will be in your list of apps, and click on server, and then you have to type in https://backend eu.rxphoto.com/API. You don't have to save that or anything, just type it in, and then once it's typed in, it's done. It's a bit disconcerting, so you feel like you should have to press a save button. And then when you go on the app, you have to sign in. Now, I will send you your username and password. You will have your own username and password. So you have to make sure you're on the EU server. If you have happened to open the app before you put that into the settings, you have to completely close it by swiping it away, because it will, and then you have to open it afresh. So once you're in. It'll ask you to, if you allow access to the camera, and whether it wants you to send notifications. Obviously, you have to allow it to access the camera. You can choose whether you send notifications, and then it'll ask you to put a PIN in. So it's easier than trying to remember that password every time. So once you put your PIN in, that's a lot easier. And you can also set it so that it will allow you to log in via Touch ID, if that's, or maybe even Face ID if you've got a fancy phone. So here are the patients, and then when you want to take a photo, we would have put in the patient's name and date of birth, so they'll be on the system before you go to the hospital to see a patient to take a photo. So you can search for them on here to see if they've got a result. So hopefully they'll be in already. And then you get this screen, which allows you to choose the area that you're going to take a photo from. So if you're going to take a photo from the chest or from the back or whatever, if you're doing something like a tummy tuck or a breast surgery, there are custom areas. So there's custom for breast, there's custom for abdomen. So if you click on breast, you have breast. Click on breast anterior. If you turn it portrait, you can see the outline for the breast. And then when you take the photo, and it's got a line saying the inframemory fold, and you can see if you can get horizontal. And then you take a photo, and then there's a little thing on the right here which says breast anterior right oblique. So it goes to the. So then you do an oblique shot, and again you've got the outline for the patient to do the oblique shot, and then right lateral, and again the outline to get the lateral, left oblique. So these are all programmed in, but if you then left lateral. But if you think I don't want to do them in that order, that's fine. You can just click on save. Well, first of all, if you think actually that was a anterior, but I want to do another anterior, you can click on add more and take another photo. Well, we're on left lateral, so take another photo of the same view. But if it doesn't come up to the next one that you want, then what you can do is you can click on save, and then you can choose whatever if it's going to be a right oblique, or choose whatever view you're going to do for the next the next one. Head, trunk, legs, whatever. To be honest, it doesn't really matter that much that you get the right view. You can always change the view later. The main thing is that you get the photo on, and it gets on the right day. Once you've you can take the photos on your phone, on the camera on your phone, and then upload it to RXPhoto if there's not a good web connection, internet connection at the hospital or where you are, and then delete it off your phone. But it's better to just do it direct onto RXPhoto. The other great thing about it is it's got so that you click on gallery and you can see all the photos you've just taken. And if you're in the clinic with someone, you can compare the photos. So you can take two photos and compare them. So it compares the two photos side by side. You can also click on mode here, so you have a slider, so you can compare the photos like that. Or you can have a morphing, so you can morph one photo into the other. So that's quite helpful if you're in the clinic to show people. And as I say, we can send them a link that will allow them to access their photos on the server, so that we don't have to send the photos themselves. It is useful if you can put what you've done. I try and put as much information as possible. So we've got tags for the volume of the implants, whether it's an abdominoplasty, what type of, so all sorts of tags for all the different procedures, so that it makes it easier to search for the procedures. We've also got on here a consent form, so this is for post-op. Once they've had their photo taken, you can get them to consent to whatever they want to consent to, and then you can get them to sign the form if you want to get consent for the photos on there. And it's just really helpful for us all to share photos. If Vicky takes photos of your patients after in the dressing clinic or whatever have you, she can then you can then log in at home and look at the photos. If you want to log in on the web, you have to go to a certain web address, which I'll put in. I'll also give to you, but it's eu.app.rxphoto.com/#/login, and that is the EU server again that you can then log in and download your photos, or just view your photos. I think it's a really good bit of software. It makes it so much easier to archive your photos, which is the main reason I got it, because I was spending hours archiving the photos. But it's safer for people, for us as doctors, to have the images on the cloud rather than on our device, and it's also easier to share with patients and safer to share with patients. Any problems, let us know, and I hope you find it useful too.